When the demand is elastic, how do you show an elastic demand? What are you going to show is, you're going to show that this demand is elastic. How will you show elasticity? Always to show elasticity, take 2 points. ये आपके एग्जाम में इस तरह से आता नहीं है. लेकिन just to give you an idea that you're going to take this 2 points. Let's say you are at point A right now, which means that you have a price at PA, and the quantity is QA. Now, what are you doing? As you move from A to B, what is happening? You can see that a small change in price has resulted in a very large change in quantity demanded. What was the change in price? The price changed from PA to PB. But what is the change in quantity? The quantity QA se QB बढ़ गई. So if you look at it, let's call this A, let's call this part B, and let's call this C. So when the price was at PA, the revenue which was being earned by the producer was AB. By reducing the price from A to PA to PB, the revenue has increased significantly. A उसके हाथ से चला गया, मगर what did he get? He got C. So now the revenue is B plus C, which means that when the demand is elastic, when you reduce the price, your revenue is going to increase. This shows an elastic demand curve. Similarly, if I want to show an inelastic demand curve, what am I going to do is I am going to take this demand curve and keep it more vertical. Now, this is very closer or very closer. This is closer to, let's call this A. So this was my point when price A and at price B. So what can you see? You can see that PA to PB, the price is reducing, the quantity is increasing from QA to QB. What does this show? It shows an inelastic demand curve. What do you mean by that? It means that as the prices are decreasing, the revenue is falling. हमें कैसे पता? जब price PA थी, जब आप point A पे थे, so the revenue being earned by the producer was A and B. As you reduce the price from PA to PB and the demand is inelastic, how much revenue are you getting? Now you're getting C. We know that we can see that C is significantly smaller than A. That means we have lost a lot of revenue. We have lost A and we have gained C. So you can see that your overall revenue is falling when you move from PA to PB. What do you learn by this? You learn that when the price is falling and the demand is inelastic, the revenue for the producer will fall. And you can see that a change in price is much more larger than a change in quantity demanded. Let me just make it more visible and more accurate so that we do not lose marks here. This is going to be like this. Yeah, this point B. And I'll explain why I'm using this for unitary elastic. At point A, let's look at my revenue. My revenue is this is my price, PA. This is my quantity, QA. What is my revenue? My revenue is this 1, 2, 3. Can you combine all of these three boxes? It will give me my revenue, right? Let's say I'm changing the price from PA to PB and I'm coming to this point B. Now, how many boxes of revenue do I have? This is my revenue now because the quantity is moving from QA to QB. So what is my revenue? My revenue technically remains the same. So 1. So this is an example of unitary elastic where by changing the price, the revenue does not change. By revenue does not change, and revenue can be shown. So you can see that the change in price is almost same. Then a change like a change in quantity. Both of them are the same, and this makes my demand what? Unitary elastic. This is how you show unitary elastic, right? Similarly, if I am now I want to show a perfectly inelastic curve. How do I show that? I show it by taking any demand curve and making it parallel to the y-axis in such a way that no matter how much price I change, the quantity remains the same at every point. Let's call this QA, right? Sorry. ठीक है. अब मैं price कुछ भी कर दूं, I can increase price, I can decrease price, but the quantity remains the same. So this was point A, this is point B, and it remains the same, perfectly inelastic. This is the demand curve. Now, how do you show a perfectly elastic? How you show a perfectly elastic demand curve that no matter whatever is happening, the quantity keeps on changing on its own without any change in price QB. So the value of perfectly inelastic would be zero. The value would be equal to infinity, which जो कि आपके calculators पे you will be able to understand through a mathematical error. अगर MA आ जाएगा या error आ जाएगा आपके calculations में तो इसका मतलब है this is perfectly elastic. Elastic means greater than one. Inelastic means less than one and greater than zero. ठीक है, elastic भी also greater than one, less than infinity. Unitary elastic में it is equal to one. You are going to ignore the negative sign. Ignore the negative sign when you are talking about PED. So this is about PED. This is entire. So first diagram is elastic. Let's understand this. As you decrease the price and the demand is elastic, the revenue is going to increase. If the product is inelastic and you decrease the price, the revenue will decrease. So how do you increase the revenue when your product demand is inelastic? By increasing the price. Petrol is an inelastic product. उसकी prices बढ़ती हैं तो petrol producers का फायदा होता है. Unitary elastic का मतलब ये है कि the percentage change in price percentage change in price will be equal to percentage change in quantity demanded. अगर PED 1 है तो आप प्राइस को बढ़ाओ या कम करो आपका रेवेन्यू चेंज होने नहीं वाला. परफेक्टली इन इलास्टिक में द हाउ विल यू इंक्रीज योर रेवेन्यू बाय चेंजिंग प्राइस. ठीक है, एंड परफेक्टली इलास्टिक के अंदर द रेवेन्यू विल इंक्रीज एज द क्वांटिटी इंक्रीजेस एंड द रेवेन्यू विल फॉल एज द क्वांटिटी फॉल्स.